show you paradise, but hang on just a little longer. I will be yours, you will be mine. Let it unfold, your legs intertwine, so don't close.
Okay, g'day guys, welcome back to another episode. As we promised, we would do a bit of a Q&A, and thanks for everyone for sending through your comments or questions on YouTube and Instagram.
Yes, so we've just, I guess, typed up a big list of all the questions we received, and then we tried to categorise them so we're not repeating ourselves too much.
Or jumping left and right.
Yeah, or jumping all over the place and you can't follow along. So, yeah, we'll just read them through the laptop and then hopefully give you some answers. And if we haven't answered them to your satisfaction, feel free to comment and we'll try and answer it again or more clearly or something for you. But, yeah, we'll get stuck into it.
So the first question is, did you buy a titanium because it looks so much like a Lotus? Short answer to that is no. Long answer to that is we bought a titanium because of a handful of reasons. Probably the biggest reason was backup servicing and warranty. You pretty much struggle to get that out of Lotus. And being a part of a community with those guys, as far as all their workers from the CEO right down to the guys in the workshop, everyone has something to do with that whole business, which is amazing to be a part of. And the van quality is just so much better than the Lotus, inside and out. So, yeah. Unless you want to add something.
No, and they don't look so much like a Lotus. I just want to say that they're actually, some people think they look very similar. I don't think they do. Well, when you look closely, they're definitely not similar because
100%.
the build quality of a titanium is a lot better. All right, we'll go to the next question, which is, what was the main reason for changing the Caravan?
So, after finishing our first major stint, we realised a couple of issues, and the main one was we knew that we were going to come up to a period of where we would basically travel and work in stints, basically, and it didn't suit the layout that we had in the Lotus to travel and work at the same time. So that was the main reason, so that the kids were way more comfortable than what they are now. So and the bunk, it was all literally to do with the bunks, basically.
Yeah, we wanted to change it for the kids to make it spacious. They had their own space, we had our own space. We weren't living on top of each other if we are parked in spots for a while.
Yeah.
That's literally the main reason. And we also do want to try and keep our asset at a certain level. So obviously buying something like this and owning it, we don't want it to depreciate so much. So that's why we're looking at changing over the van, and we'll probably continue to do that just to keep our money up there, because we don't like our assets really depreciating.
Yeah.
That's that.
That's
really.
pretty much it,
Yeah.
really.
No, actually, one of the other main reasons why we wouldn't have a titanium isn't if we didn't meet Liam,
Which you'll
the
see.
titanium marketing manager.
You'll meet him in a couple of episodes from now.
He watched our YouTube. We pulled up to a free camp where he was at, and he just told us, like, come and look at titanium and caravans. And we had a friend that we did the gig with last year that had one. We hadn't really looked into them. We did tell him we were thinking of changing our van over, and walked through these, and the rest is history, really.
Pretty much.
So, yeah, Liam.
Did you have to pay for the changeover from your Lotus to the titanium, or did you get the Caravan for free? So, short answer to that is no. We don't. We don't get anything for free. We definitely don't. We had to pay for this like anyone else. So, and which is a cool thing is that we offer ourselves as ambassadors to Titanium for nothing, for $0. So we just do it because we like doing content.
We don't get paid by them or anything. We paid for our van. We did not get a free caravan, nor would we ever ask for a free caravan.
No.
Or we would never ever ask for a discount or anything like that. We're not those type of people. We'll always, we like to support businesses and pay what everyone else pays.
Next question. What would be your ideal setup if you didn't have kids?
Well, that's a good question.
It is a good question, but in all reality, we have kids, so it's kind of a bit silly to even try and answer. I don't know. I haven't actually really looked or had the idea of looking in any of the other vans that are on the market, whether that's in titanium or outside of titanium, because we've got kids.
Yeah.
So
I think
it's kind of a tough question.
If we didn't have kids, we would definitely rough it a lot more. We wouldn't have a big, nearly 24-foot caravan and a Chevy. We would be really roughing it. We probably would have fitted out some old full drive and really
probably
tested it and took it to some really crazy places and stuff, because that you don't have to worry about taking kids.
Yeah, I would have probably gone that little bit one step further and had full trailing arm system, off-road boat trailer, and some sort of canopy on the back of a ute or something like.
Yeah, with a rooftop tent probably.
Decent sized battery system in the car, and you can do those sorts of setups for, I don't know, maybe under $100,000, and that's including the boat. Anything's possible, but yeah.
No, you wouldn't even have to spend that much.
No,
but it'd be a lot simpler and smaller.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Next question is, will you get another titanium caravan? We quite often talk about what we would do in the next van, so and whether we get another van, do we want another van? We're not really sure, and then the next day I'll go by, oh, we'd do this or we'd do that. 100% would go with another titanium as of right now.
We're already thinking about another build, but that won't be at least till probably a good months. 12 to 18 months. So, we will 100% go another titanium if we upgrade or change to another caravan.
Next question is, have you ever been fined for taking your hands off the wheel while driving? No, I haven't. Didn't know it was a fine. If it is, makes sense, I suppose. Next question is, curious of the exact damage to the cruiser. Curious as to why they wrote it off, and maybe why you did not challenge the decision by the insurer.
Yeah.
So the car basically sat in a yard down in, I think it was around Warragul somewhere for a week for the assessor to come out and look at it. And after that, they sent it off to a salvage yard. But in this specific salvage yard, I think it was around Clayton area somewhere in Melbourne. It sat there for pretty much the remainder time period before they wrote it off, and the reasons it sat there was it was twisted on the chassis in 2 spots from what they told me. Like, I haven't actually seen an actual report, so based off that information, it wasn't just a write-off, it was a statutory write-off, which means it can never ever be registered ever again. So anyone that was to purchase our car couldn't do anything about it with that VIN number. So in that situation, you have no options but to take the insurance payout.
And for us being in a situation where we travel full time, we live in our caravan full time, it just to kind of hurry things along. Hello, Louis. You gonna say hello? You gonna say hello to the camera? Just to hurry things along, obviously we're going to accept that and try and get into another car as fast as possible. It was there was damage to the chassis that we didn't even think would be damaged.
Yeah, I remember looking at the car when we got it back to Warrigal, and even you could actually see where the tow ball tongue slides into the back of the car. It was actually twisted, so
And it
we
didn't.
knew then that
It
was
didn't
pretty
drive
serious.
straight. Like it was a bit kind of sideways-ish, wasn't it?
It didn't drive straight up on the whole way down. So
Yeah.
we knew that there was massive issues with that. Anyway, not much we can do about him. We try and stop him. He will scream. So.
Okay. Hello, Louie.
Next question is: did the insurance company make it really hard to deal with them, or was it a seamless process? Short answer to that is it was a seamless process, but it was a stressful one, only because they didn't know the information to pass on to us, and I couldn't pass that on to Sarah and the kids. And that was the part I found very stressful.
Yeah, and the car being so many hours away, it's not like we could... soda water. Do you want some? Yeah, the car being so far away that it wasn't our local repairer or assessor or anything, so we couldn't just kind of, drop in like we probably would if it was local, to get updates on the car and what was happening. And because the insurance company was moving it around to different places to get different things checked, all the quotes for fixing all the damage and things like that. So, they didn't make it hard. It was just the time frame in not knowing. Other than that, like they were actually really good to deal with.
The next question is: did you consider a 2500? Now, we're probably jumping the gun a little bit here with this Q&A video, because I know on the next episode I've already edited it, and I know there's a lot of these questions sort of in that, and not this one though. So this one here, knowing what I know now, and what was spent on the car now versus buying a 2500, for us now it would have been a lot cheaper to buy a 25, but in saying that, we wouldn't have been able to do all the, I suppose, aftermarket fits, bull bars and winches and those sorts of things.
Yeah.
Suspension upgrades, tyres, rims.
Yeah. We did look at 2500s, but the practicality of the bigger vehicle is just, this is our only car, and it will be our everyday vehicle as well if we pull up for work stints and stuff. So it's just not practical at all. Just car park nightmares and things like that. And then obviously if we bought a 2500 brand new, we'd be looking at, like Henry said, paying that just for the stock vehicle. Basically what we've spent on our 1500 is basically...
Yeah, we would have had it registered and maybe some tyres, maybe a couple of little things on the car, but that would have been about it. Now, do I not like the 25s? No, that's not the case. We wanted to be able to basically build another car or ute and still be able to basically go and do what we were doing before before this video, moving back all the way to the start. So yeah, that's the sort of decision.
We probably, and we weren't doing huge weights. So if we really wanted to put a canopy and all of that extra stuff on, you'd probably go the 2500. But we travel minimal. We like to have not lots of stuff. So weights will not be an issue for us with the 1500.
No, because we've gotten a GVM upgrade, and you'll see this in the next episode, but. Yeah, so anyway. Not the next episode, the one after that.
Yeah. Can you please let me know how much you can put in the car when the van is on the back?
Now, I'm going to say I'm sorry, but I haven't done that yet. I have weighed it after the GVM and all that stuff. I'm pretty sure it came in at about 3.7, the car with the van on.
Yeah.
And what does that mean? That would give us, I don't know, what's that? We've still got an extra 500 kilos to play with, but that's with the GVM upgrade.
Yeah, so we basically...
We'll quickly touch on the GVM upgrades. I'm pretty sure...
that's coming up here, but yeah.
The car comes out at 3.3 tonne GVM as a standard, and we've increased it to 4.2, which you'll see in 2 episodes' time or 3.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't... Like, this is sort of hard to sort of talk about because we haven't really got to that point in our videos without giving too much away.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But, yeah, if we didn't have the GVM upgrade, I guess...
We'd be pushing weights hardcore.
Would be probably over.
Yep.
Wouldn't we?
Would be.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, to answer that back at the 2500, would you go a 25 or a 1500? When you're doing on-off travelling, you're only travelling for 8 weeks at a time or 10 or 12. That's, I reckon, a 1500 is fine. Nothing wrong with it. If you're going to go full 12 months or longer, that's probably when you would look at the 25s because you're not really doing the whole go-to-shop supermarket stuff and a lot.
Well, you still need to go to the supermarket, but you're not going to shopping centres, you're not in cities and things like that.
They're physically so much bigger and it's a nightmare. Oh, I find it a nightmare.
Yeah.
I'm only just getting used to ours. So the next question will be...
what about parts availability in Australia?
Yeah. Sarah can answer this one.
We kind of just like cross our fingers that nothing will happen to us and we don't need parts. So that's where we stand. We did obviously buy brand new because we wanted the comfort and security of having warranty if anything does go wrong. But parts, I guess there's nothing we can do about it. It is what it is. If you need something and you've got to wait, it's what it's going to be. But we just pray that nothing happens to us so that doesn't affect us. But
yeah, it was a lot easier with the Cruiser. So
yeah,
you can get parts anywhere for them. Were you able to recover anything off the 200 series? Like the 12-volt system, so you aren't starting from scratch. Now, I'm just going to quickly list off everything that I did take off the Cruiser. So we had the Cruiser insured for basically what it cost us to build, but what I hadn't stipulated in the insurance client policy was anything to do with all the stuff I put on it. So which meant I could have took the whole lot off and the insurance company couldn't really say anything about it. If you have things stipulated there, they have to stay on the car. So I took the intercooler fans on top of the intercooler under the bonnet. I took the air compressor, the 12-volt one, out of the back of the side. I took the draw system out. I took a heap of steady lights and stuff off it. I took the driving lights off it. The roof racks come off it.
We took the UHF out, the aerial, driving lights.
Yeah, so that's pretty much that's literally all we've taken. So
yeah, so what we'll use in the next car?
Yes.
Oh, in the Chevy.
What we can put in the Chevy, we
Why did that drop really dark?
I don't know.
Did the sun go away?
So what parts we decide to use in the Chevy moving forward, we will, but not obviously all those things are going to work. So next question is, what mods are you doing on the new tow tug? Bull bar, winch, UHF, driving light, snorkel, rear bar, side steps,
the GVM, GCM upgrade,
tyres, rims, spare tyre and rim as well, and a very small battery system, 12-volt only, 100 amps sort of thing, just to run the fridge. That's pretty much it, really.
Yeah,
and a couple of little tiny cosmetic stuff.
Yeah, a few cosmetic things, a few things in the interior just to, I guess, maximise the, or I guess save the interior a bit. Sorry, the camera just went flat, so we've just changed batteries.
How will you go taking the Chevy off-road? Honestly, I don't really know. I think it'll be fine. It's just going to be whether I want to scratch it or not.
Yeah, we don't like damaging our stuff or scratching them and stuff. So we do try to avoid treating our stuff like crap, but
I think there will be a little bit more, I suppose, not as off-road as probably what I'd like.
no, and we always really consider the places that we're going. Is it going to be worth it at the end? Like, we're not going to trash our vehicle for nothing or for content or whatever that doesn't bring joy to us or our kids. So we're just going to travel how we normally do, and if the car gets scratched down a tight track because we want to go somewhere on our bucket list or whatever, it is what it is, I guess. But yeah, we don't know. We haven't tested it, so it'll be interesting. And we will share everything with you guys in terms of how we honestly feel this car is going, if we have any issues with it. I don't know. If it does restrict where we can and can't go, we'll be definitely telling you guys, because we have no affiliation with Chevy or anything like that. We've bought this car, it's ours, and we'll just give you our honest feedback whether these are even worth it or not.
Sarah says this in the next episode.
Yep. Do I?
Yeah, you do.
Okay.
Sarah hasn't proof watched it yet, but she does.
Henry's drone flying. How long did it take you to fly at that level you are at today? Any drones lost?
Short answer of this is go down to a showgrounds or a rec reserve of some description, find plenty of trees that are spaced out reasonable and fly in and out of them, and just spend hours doing that until you sort of master your skills a bit more. But a little bit harder to do the style of flying I do unless it is an FPV drone. If you've got a standard drone, it's way more difficult. That doesn't turn and maneuver like normal drones. So yeah, any lost drones? Yeah, I have. I've crashed my old man's one once, and I remember it took me like 6 weeks to fix it, and he was asking me where it was, and I couldn't bring myself to tell him that
we were
I crashed
waiting
it.
for parts to come.
That was a couple of $100 to fix that, and gave it to him and got it all working, and he was fine. So anyway, I have the drone I have now. It's had a fair few crashes on this trip. Some of them, I think nearly all of them, I've put up on as I've crashed a drone. I should put that on the YouTube
but
videos.
They've all been really minor, minuscule little things.
So another thing that I don't talk about, which I probably should, I never slow down the drone footage speed or speed it up. That is real-time speed. When it's going flat out, it's usually around that 100k mark. Now, this drone also has the ability of doing up to 140 k's an hour as well, but most of the shots are usually done in that 100k area, 90, 80, most of it's 100 though. Next question.
What cameras do we use? We've got a GoPro 9, 10, 11.
Heaps of attachments with that.
Multiple
heaps
attachments and
that we've
things,
accumulated over the years.
And then, so we usually keep one on the dash in the car, one is set up for water, and then one is usually set up for just filming with a microphone and stuff. So that's basically it. We've got the drone, and then I've got just a Canon camera.
Which we're using right now.
Yeah, which we're using now.
We don't usually use this camera. But
yeah, it's just one of those, what is it, a mirrorless?
Yeah, it's just easier with this camera.
We don't know that much. We just get it. Use it, it works.
As we're learning, people are using their mobile phones now to do YouTube, and it looks really good.
You don't need huge expensive camera gear. Like Henry said, people use their phone and what they create's amazing. Just as long as you're creating videos, and I guess being able to store those memories is all that matters, really. It doesn't matter how you do it. Okay, next question. How is Henry's health since his episode in the Ningaloo last year? did he find out what upset him? And they said, we hoped it had nothing to do with the accident to the car.
So I've had multiple doctor's appointments when we got back to Swan Hill, and basically none of those appointments have led to any official diagnosis. You know, the only real, I suppose you would call it, diagnosis that we've all come to some sort of agreement would be, how do you pronounce it?
Is it cold
Urticaria?
urticaria?
Yeah, something like that.
We'll put it in text here.
So basically, for anyone that hasn't really, I suppose, heard or know or seen this video for the first time and wondering what this is all about, go back to our South Offroad video and watch that, and then it'll all make sense. Had an episode on the beach there where I collapsed on the ground and was basically non-responsive for, I think, nearly 20 minutes, I think it was, and come to and then fell non-responsive again for I don't know how long. But long story short, as a result of that, we pretty much started to head towards Perth after that, and we hadn't finished that Exmouth area, and I hadn't actually got my referral for WA, so we decided to come back to Swan Hill and do further tests and stuff there, and never got a diagnosis in the end. And to get that, you have to go through extreme stringency or stress test in a safe area, and we didn't have the time frame to do that. Do we wish we had it? Yes and no, and I haven't had any episodes since. We did have one that was very similar, but not in the passing out stage where all my skin went blotchy and stuff, and that was around Fonty's Pool, I think it was, in WA, near Margaret River.
Yeah.
So, not near Margaret River, it's probably down south more.
Yeah, but he's been prescribed EpiPens, so we're going to carry them. We keep one in the car, we keep one in the van. And he's been advised to use them if he gets the same symptoms coming on and it gets to that point again. So we have kind of a bit of peace of mind.
To lean on.
Yeah, peace of mind having that with us.
Another question that might come of that is, no, I'm not allergic to bees. I never have been and still not, because I got stung since that accident. So
yeah. No, so it's basically they come to the conclusion that Henry's allergic to cold temperatures. We don't know exactly how cold or a temperature that it comes on, but that's what they've assumed, or that's what we've come to the conclusion of.
I think you'll find there's like a series of things that have to be played out for it to happen. And to try and mimic and make that happen again would be pretty hard, I would have thought.
Yeah.
Okay, next question. I'm actually doing fine with that too.
Was there anywhere along your travels you felt unsafe?
Probably Tannin Creek was one that was interesting. I think it was just a sheer shock of, what is this place and what's going on? That was one place I just felt very unsafe.
Yeah. Me probably Ceduna. I did groceries in Ceduna, and I had Kayana with me, and we were kind of like just had people hassling us when we're walking to the car, and Henry told me to meet him at the car park, and he'd gone off to fill the caravan with water, and I had Kayana with me, and I had people hassling me to go and buy them alcohol from the bottle shop and stuff, and I was like, no, and they're like, oh, then they were just calling me names and stuff, and I was like, no, like, I've got my daughter with me, that's not appropriate, don't ask me that. And then I kind of got abused, and then I was like, oh God. I wouldn't care so much if it was me on my own, but because I had her with me, I didn't want her to feel unsafe. So I was calling Henry, like, get back here and pick us up now, because
I thought she was joking.
She was freaking out. But that was, I think, about it. Like, when we were traveling, we kind of had this pack where if anyone has this gut feeling or stomach feeling that they don't feel safe and won't get any sleep, we don't stay there. So even if we pulled up to a camp and we set everything up and someone wasn't feeling safe, we would pack it all up and just leave. So we kind of made that pack as a family.
That was from the start.
Yeah.
Next question.
Where are you guys heading to next, and will you keep traveling for the rest of the year?
You can answer this one.
We have no idea where we're going next. We're currently on the East Coast and not sure how high we're going, whether we're going back down, we don't know. So we kind of just will get to an intersection or a main road and kind of rock, paper, scissors it. Are we going left? Are we going right? We don't like to make plans because every time we made plans,
They all fall apart.
They fall apart, or you find yourself trying to work your travels around that one booking or something, and it's just a nightmare, especially if the weather's crap or I don't know, you meet people, maybe you want to spend a couple more days in another camp or something. So we try to not make plans. We just wing it. Will we keep traveling for the rest of the year? Off and on. I think we'll probably do a 3-month work stint somewhere this year. We're not sure where yet, but we'll do that.
We don't know how that'll work out as far as video contents go. You guys probably won't even notice it.
Yeah.
Or you will.
So, yeah, we're planning on doing...
You'll find out because I'll be telling you.
Yeah, probably a 3-month stint, and then the girls in school for a term somewhere where we pull up. Do you work along the way? Will you? What do you guys do for work? We haven't worked along the way. When we did our first lap, we got home. When we changed over the van and the car, Henry worked. I was home with Louis, and the girls did a couple of terms at school. But we're hoping that for the 3 months that we pull up this year, we can both get work.
Yeah, and we're still trying to, which we've said before, still trying to find a new place to call home, and we still haven't found that yet. So that's the main reason and objective of this.
Well, we've found places we know would like to live, but there's other places we want to check out to compare all these places.
What those places are, just a secret. So don't ask.
So yes, we will work along the way.
We'll tell you one day, just once we've figured out what we're doing. What do we do for work?
Yeah.
So,
well, I was an AOD support worker and worked with social emotional wellbeing within health organisation. And you?
I don't know, a bit of everything really. Mainly just, I suppose, call it a farmhand on large broadacre farming, and also mainly truck driving as well, which that's what it pretty much rolled into in the end. So yeah. So the next question is,
where will you guys end up after travelling? What state?
I think the last question answered that.
We don't know where we'll end up after travelling. We're trying to figure that out. What state? We're still trying to figure that out too. Where will it not be?
Won't be Rottnest Island, because no one can really live there.
Okay, that's random. That's not a state. We will not end up in Tasmania. We will not end up living in SA.
Purely because of the weather.
We love heat, and the kids love their summers and kind of swimming and everything. So it will definitely be somewhere really warm. But we are working that out, hopefully. So we don't know. Sorry. how much longer will you be on the road is the next question.
So, a bit of a tough one because I don't think you'll ever not be a time where that's really appropriate because our travelling's changing now to work, travel. So it's sort of like how long's a piece of string. Currently, right now, our biggest issue that we've got in front of us is obviously Naya, because our eldest daughter's BCE and finishing her schooling. So that's going to definitely be playing a big role in what happens over the next year.
Yes, so it'll hinge around her, and she's year 9 this year, going into year 10 next. So she will need that structure of going back into school. So we will be slowing things down as that approaches, I think. And I don't think we'll ever not have a caravan. Would still be wanting to travel and stuff on all the holidays.
Yeah, be those same stints like everyone else does.
Okay, next question. What's your budget per week? We've never had a budget. We set off, I guess, for our lap with the, I guess...
The intentions were to stop and work, but we decided to keep travelling.
Yeah, and so we never had a budget purely because it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity we were doing, or we're still doing. We wanted to enjoy it, especially like in the WA. If there's an experience we wanted to do, we were going to do it purely because when do you get back over there if you're not going to live there or stay there long term? So as we travelled, we wanted to make sure we didn't miss out on the experiences that we wanted to do with having a really tight budget. Like, I get some people have to budget to be able to travel and stuff, but to be honest, we're just tapping that card and we're like, if it stops, it stops.
No, we did have some.
We were mindful of how much we were spending all the time.
Gotta be. You're more expensive. Like, the biggest, I think, advice I can give anyone would be the more you drive a car, the more fuel you burn, which is the biggest cost out of all of it.
Yeah.
Just pull up and stay in places for a week, and then move.
Yeah.
300 or 400 k's and stay there for a week, and don't drive around as much if that's how you want to keep your budget down, because that's the expensive part.
Yeah, and if you can, like, free camp it, low cost camp it.
Which we try and do.
As much as we can.
So it's bloody damn difficult.
Everyone's going to be mindful of what they spend. I think we worked it out roughly. Our first lap, I think we worked out was, on average, we were spending, I think, $1,500 to $2,000 a week.
Yeah, some weeks we were over that. There was a $5,000 week in Gold Coast. There was, I think Perth was about the same.
Yeah, so
it's just all those capital city areas are a lot.
They eventually level out, but on average it was around that $1,500 to $2,000, I think.
You get some weeks that were like $500 or $600.
Yeah.
Like along the Ningaloo coast, but then you got to be mindful of how much it costs to get there. So then you're up at $1,000 for that week. And if you stay in that one spot for a long time, that's how you bring the price down.
Yeah. So, but everyone's different. Everyone has different circumstances. So your budgets are going to be absolutely completely different, and what you spend is going to be different. So that was just our family. What was the most overrated, underwhelming place we've visited?
I honestly don't really know the answer to this.
I think it depends on when you visit the places, and the weather makes a huge part of that. Okay. We're at the Ningaloo, and if we didn't spend as much time there, we would have got some really horrible days, and our experience wouldn't have been as great. So the weather, I think, played a huge part. And if you go to Ningaloo and stuff, and it's not in that peak season, you probably need to stay longer because you might only get 50% good days that are usable to be out snorkeling and stuff. So
yeah, 100%. I reckon if you could double your time in the Ningaloof region, then you're doing well because you get the best of both worlds. You can have quiet days because of the weather.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And it's very erratic there.
But there wasn't any places we actually thought, ew, yuck. It's underwhelming. So we're very lucky in Australia.
There's like points of interest that were underwhelming, but not to a point where you would just single it out, I don't think.
And lucky last question, where or what was your most memorable moment from our first lap? Louis.
It's got to be the Gib, I think, or just some really remote, hard to get to places. And we've said this many, many times, and we haven't done the Cape or pretty much a lot of the Queensland region, so we haven't really got to experience that yet. Haven't done Tasmania yet, but here is a map of all the stuff that we have done. I've got a photo here I'm going to show you.
Yeah, we might pop it up. But for me, it'd definitely be the helicopter flight over Mitchell Falls. That was stunning, amazing experience for us to do as a family, something we'd never done.
Even that whole day, like the ability to come back to the King Edward campground was just some epic stuff, and yeah, like it just makes me want to go back and do it again.
All of the Kimberleys was absolutely amazing. I could live there. I absolutely love the Kimberleys.
Yep. Karanjini was unreal. Some really cool spots.
Anyways, we're going to leave it there for you guys. Thanks for the questions, and hope we answered them to your satisfaction. We do have a video next week coming out on more of what we're up to with the car and moving forward, but for now, that is the answers to the questions we received on Instagram and YouTube. So, Henry's just making sure there's no more questions. Yep. All good. So, we'll leave it there, and thank you for watching.
Yes, thank you thanks for taking the time, and also, sorry that we had to cut it a lot, because
Louis.
Seems to take twice as long, and we have to watch out for him. So, yeah, stay tuned for next week's episode.